So yes, hello, this is Griff and welcome to another of my vid rips. This time a little different. We're going to see two AIs play against each other, and I'm going to be a bit more academic with my cast for people who might not be familiar with the game watching this. So, we have the game of Starcraft. We have two players, PurpleWave, who is of course green, and the purple player will be McRave, both AIs. The game is quite simple, representation of war, you have armies, you have resources. So both players start with a single building and 4 workers who will mine resources, use those resources to make buildings, and those buildings will produce an army, produce and upgrade that army. Very simple. StarCraft has 3 races, but in this case, very simple. We have 2 of the same race here, both Protoss players. So yeah, that'll make things easier. It's also, in my opinion, the most boring matchup, so it'll be perfect for academic purposes. So, we will see actually quite pedestrian APMs. APMs is the actions per minute that the AI is doing. A normal human player would have around, an average competitive player would have around 200. But not much to do right now, so the main building is producing more workers to speed up the process. And yeah, so the first thing, also to note that the entire map here, which in this case is benzene, is completely revealed. In the game, this will not be the case, and you will have vision radiuses for each unit and building. So the AIs will receive information based on where their units are and where they are actually looking. So they can't see any of this. They can't see that. First building is made. There is a supply mechanic in the game that you will see here in the bottom as well. That's basically the maximum amount of units that can be supported by the player at that point in time. And that's to a maximum of 200. So you have to build these buildings that also connect the other buildings. Not really that important at this point. But yeah, so the first production building is being made here that will make units. Important is now that we have from McRave, we have a scouting probe, which will, I think, be the same thing. No, the actually PurpleWave choosing not to scout. So this probe is now looking and seeing whether or not it can deduce anything from the build order. So we have a gas, so the second resource being built here for more advanced units. Most standard buildings don't require it. So we have, here we go. We have this building now complete. We have another pylon being built for more supply. This probe is twitching around, and now you can see the APMs going off the scale as this is being controlled. The important thing about Brood War, or StarCraft, well, StarCraft Brood War, that's the game, is that the units themselves are notoriously stupid. There isn't really any inherent AI in the units themselves inherently in the game. They stand where they want to stand, and they will attack things when they're in radius, and sometimes chase them. But that's it. There is no thinking involved in any of these units. So all of this is being controlled. And you can see the twitchy nature of all this is because of that. I believe this is going to be... yeah, we'll see what this is. I think that's going to be a cybernetics core, which is a tech building that allow different units to be built. Yeah, so this probe is going to stay here. This Solid doesn't care. They're just going to block this ramp. On the other side of the map, yeah, the cybernetics core is already done. Gas is being mined, and there is also a probe here. It's also to note that these AIs have an idea of, well, have a plan, let's say, that's given to them, a metagaming plan. But they have to decide all the locations for all the things to happen, and they have to make decisions based on the information they gather. So, okay. This thing is doing a thing. That is a range for one of the units that is about to pop out. So a range increase upgrade. And I think it's almost identical. We have another, there we go. So that's the first Dragoon, let's say a light artillery unit. That's now going to clear up the scouting probe. There's nothing much that it can do there. Voila. Should have anticipated that Dragoon coming out. And I think the exact same thing is happening here. So right now, this is a proper mirror match. One difference is that you have these buildings at the front here. We now have a push. The Zealots are pushing out. They're going a little late there. Is something similar happening on this end? I'm trying to see. No, this is a defense. So difference here, PurpleWave opting for an early push, some early pressure. And is, yeah, McRave here only on the 2 gates. Purple going for, well, PurpleWave. I'll call him Wave. That's Wave and Rave. Very simple for the commentator, I must say. Okay, so a little bit of a push. The Zealots are going to come in here, but there's already 2 Dragoons here. The range is going to, because these Zealots are, of course, melee units. A little bit of twitching here. Yeah, trying to find a shot. The Zealot's going to poke out, get some vision on that, maybe. Which is hard to see because there's no fog of war. But yeah, there's a little bit of twitching. Trying to get a push here. Positioning is really important. That's one of the main things in StarCraft. How are you going to position your piece? One shot here. These things are getting caught out. This Dragoon is now caught out in the middle here. Might be able to eat easy pickings, but there's no real advancement. Now getting blocked by these. Yeah, that's a mistake. That's a big mistake by McRave here. The Zealots were blocking Dragoon, unable to allow it to back up. Now, that 1 kill, 3rd Dragoon here, but there's already 3 Dragoons. Of course, the advantage here for McRave as he's got his production a couple of feet away. Meters. Academic. Meters. I actually use meters, but when I'm speaking English. Don't. So a little bit of twitchy movement here, but right now, this containment, let's say, the best thing that could happen here is preventing a expansion, which is already at the other end. There is already a second main building being built for more production, for more resources and then production. The delay here is enough now that PurpleWave is actually retreating. We do have some more tech. We are going to see some different units being built, which is going to be probably a shuttle and a Reaver, which are very, very expensive yet devastating things. You invest a lot into them. They are, with the shuttle, very mobile, but if you lose them, that's a great setback in economics, let's say. All right, so having delayed this, now giving up the contain, PurpleWave has lots of units here now. But because of this, there we go. We have the shuttle, which is going to ferry units soon. But now, okay, this is the thing. Similar here, we have the same building to produce this, not the tech yet. So this building here enables the Reaver, and this building enables the Scouting Observer here, which is cloaked. So waiting for that Reaver to pop out, because PurpleWave put on the pressure, took an expansion, he's going to have more mining capability, more resources, but now he has to bank on it, of course. There we go, the shuttle's still waiting, still patrolling here. Because now, McRave has an economical disadvantage. The Goon is here, the Goon's sitting here to see what's going to happen. This army's probably going to try and push out. The window for McRave is closing. If he can't, there we go. Here's the Reaver. That's an artillery unit as well. Very slow, very damaging. Can do a lot of damage to these simple little probes that have very little health. If he can bank on this, he's going to use this in a push, actually. He's not going to do any shenanigans with it. Just straight up push. The Reaver is the difference. There was a mild reduction in unit production when this expansion went up. A lot of resources went into that. So there is a window where McRave can push and benefit from this unit. There we go. That's a Scarab. That's the projectile being used here. These Dragoons are in a horrible position, though. They're not firing a lot. There's a lot more surface area being used here by McRave. He needs to be careful with this, though, because this is a very expensive, very fragile thing. He's coming around, trying to find an angle, holding back, holding the line here. Oh, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous. Oh, God, that was bad. That was very bad. That was his advantage right there. So now, yeah, there we go. PurpleWave pushing on a little bit. Still in a terrible position because there's still a lot more that can happen here. But the battle is won. If he can keep this, then the battle is won. I don't know. There's if there's going to be more production in terms of Reavers here. Yeah. But he's crawling, sadly. That's a mistake. Again, he needs that shuttle. He needs to have that shuttle because Reavers are fucking slow. So, yeah. They're... Okay. Doesn't want to commit here. Not a lot of Zealots here. If Zealots are in the front, they can tank some of the damage, but... Again, another expansion. Still no expansions at all from McRave. Really want to... Okay, again, pushing, good position. But yeah. PurpleWave needs to get out here. He's doing a... I mean, he's expanding well, and again here, a very dangerous one. Wants to keep this position, but he's losing so many units. Just in this bad position. Wants to keep this bridge. And here comes finally, after all these years, that Reaver's finally going to get to the front line. And that's going to make the difference here. An observer gets taken out, one of these invisible ones. Because that can be detected by other observers. He hasn't seen the Reaver, probably. Saying he, because, well... Okay, yeah. Here we go. Here comes a shuttle to support... Oh no, support another Reaver. Now I'm going to pick both of these up, alternate the fire. The artillery shots are going down, and PurpleWave is losing a lot. But again... Twitchy! He manages to save the Reaver, I believe. Which is good. Now, Wave backing off. Forming a line here. Needs to be careful with these Reavers. Reinforcements. Okay, the Reaver's coming up top here. There's one in the army as well. But yeah... PurpleWave's losing here. Going to have to cancel this attempt. Has a lot of economy. But this is going to go down. This is going to stall probably. If McRave decides to kill this expansion, it's actually going to give PurpleWave a chance to rebuild his army here. So back in there's some defensive cannons. There's invisible Dark Templar here as well. But that doesn't matter because there is an observer. So that's just going to get murdered. Okay. So yeah, now at this point, McRave is thinning out himself. He has the Reavers. He has some heavy stuff here. He's got more reinforcements pouring in. But now there's a little choke here. Some cannons. A lot of reinforcements. We even have a Templar, which is a spellcasting unit, which can do a devastating attack. It just came out. So it's not going to be able to do its spell yet, which is Psystorm, an AoE damage thing. So the spazzing of the shuttle is always nice to see with these AIs. But again, yeah, slowly but certainly, McRave makes his way to one of the expansions. Still one here down here. Oh no, never mind. He actually sent some units here to deal with that. So that's a bad thing. Reaver's there as well. Another one still in that shuttle. And finally, because of PurpleWave's indecisiveness, he chose to go for the money. He chose to go for... Because now, yeah, these Zealots are pointless. This is a bad decision. You have these Reavers just ripped into shreds. That's a lot of Reavers here now. Again, these Reavers have exactly the same health as one of these Dragoons. So they are relatively fragile. But if you keep picking them up, and redeploying them in these shuttles, then they are virtually, yeah, indestructible. And at this point, I believe that the game is firmly over. McRave now finally has the start of an expansion, but he hasn't needed it because, yeah, just keeping the pushing, better positioning, and the use of those. First, losing one of those Reavers, but sadly, PurpleWave was stuck on this bridge. And didn't push the advantage, wanted to keep on the defensive, chose to be defensive to defend the expansions rather than attack. And that's the behavior of the aggressor here, is the one that turned out. This is now merely a, actually going for the pylons. So the pylons, they have a field in which they power buildings. If the pylons get taken out, the buildings will be inoperable. Usually it doesn't really matter. Pylons have a lot of health. But sometimes, you know, if you are going to kill a building first, it's going to be that, because it'll cut off power to these buildings and they won't be able to build any more units. All right, so at this point, yeah, I'm just going to speed it up, as the buildings are going to be destroyed, as AIs do not give up. They will not surrender. And there you go. When you lose all buildings, you lose the game. That was game 1. On to game 2.